All right, hey guys. So this video is going to be a little different today. Obviously, I have some game footage in the back here, but that's not what I want to talk about. So this video is going to be essentially my mental health journey over the past like 2 years, and how I started feeling better. I really wanted to do a video like this because honestly, I mean, it was a lot of it was YouTubers helping me. Huge shout out to Cole Hastings. I mean, he was a huge one that I watched his stuff and I really started making a pretty big difference recently. Although again, the journey goes back definitely farther than that. And so, yeah, today I'm just making this video in hopes that maybe it's just like inspiring for just one person. Hopefully it helps just one person feel a little more motivated uh, to make some changes or to have some hope, because the boat I was in for a long time was I just didn't really have a ton of hope. I didn't think things were going to get better. I mean, a little backstory, I've just been, anxious and depressed basically my whole life, you know. And so, again, the last 2 years, I've made the biggest changes, and seen the biggest, like, improvements. And so I just wanted to make, again, a small little video. Again, obviously, this is opinion. I'm not, a professional, but I'm just a normal guy who feels a lot better than he used to. So hopefully someone finds this helpful. And so, yeah, number one, I think if there's any takeaway, hopefully this is what you take away, but, start seeing a counselor, someone who can professionally help you. The biggest changes I made, over a year ago was I found a counselor I really liked. And, me personally, I'm an external processor. And so just having somebody that I was seeing on a weekly basis, which now I'm actually, seeing them every other week, but at first, having someone that you can see on a weekly basis, touch base, realize you're not crazy, your feelings are valid, is incredibly helpful. And again, if they're a professional, they have resources that can help you. They know, what's going on in your brain, whereas sometimes your friends don't. I understand seeing a counselor, financially it can be a hard one for people. Hopefully this is encouraging. I haven't had insurance in, over the past year or so, and I was able to find, a few counselors throughout my life that were sliding scale. So that's always a good thing to look at. Trying to find somebody that is just sliding scale goes based off your income. So, I wasn't having to pay an arm and a leg for this stuff. And, it's also just like an investment in yourself. And, the longer you do it, you'll get to a point where, if you start off, 4 times a month, then you'll get down to 2 times a month, which I'm at right now. I'm actually getting ready to probably cut down to, you know, monthly check-ins or even less. Again, it's been something I've really invested in and it's really paid off. All right, so number two here, obviously, again, I want to reiterate this is just opinions and these are just things that helped me, and maybe, there's someone out there that it would also help. But the second thing that I did was I got off social media. Um, Honestly, for a long time, and I think most people are in this boat, I would mindlessly sit, just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and seeing all these people that I would start to compare myself to because of my own insecurity, you know? And I would start feeling bad and feeling like I wasn't doing enough. And, I never was feeling good when I was scrolling. It's something I realized as well. Like, I wouldn't sit there and, like, I wasn't feeling super encouraged. And again, this might not be all people. I think social media is good for some people. It just wasn't for me. And one of my big fears with deleting social media was like, would I even matter? Would I be relevant? Would people care about me anymore? Kind of like this weird, like, will I even exist anymore? It became like very existential in a lot of ways. And the truth is, once I finally pulled the trigger and deleted it, I mean, I started feeling a lot better for one, but also, the friends in my life that really cared didn't disappear. It's not like I just like vanished. I was still in contact with all the friends that I really enjoyed seeing and really enjoyed hanging out with. And I just realized like how much, I decluttered my brain so much by getting rid of this. And this doesn't have to be a forever thing. So actually, I do have like Instagram again. Um, yeah, this doesn't have to be a forever thing. I have Instagram again. That's one that I actually don't feel like I easily, get sucked into. So that was kind of part of that one. But it is fun to, have some friends that you can check in on and see in your family. So obviously there's pros to social media, but again, for me overall, getting rid of most of it was the right choice. All right, so the third thing that I did, and again, these aren't necessarily in order, but um, the third on this list that I did was I stopped drinking so much. Alcohol is a depressant, and just like I'm already depressed, I'm already anxious. I got to a point where I would drink and I just really wasn't feeling super good, and then for a few days after that, I wouldn't feel super good mentally. Um, yeah, I cut that out, and that one helped a lot too, where I just wasn't feeling as bad. And obviously, I don't think drinking a ton is good for you, anyways. Um, I feel like my motivation really started coming back, especially like combined with not being on social media. I'm not drinking as much. Started feeling a lot more motivated in general. And I still do drink, socially from time to time. Like I didn't just like cut it all out completely. Like I think it's still like a great social thing. Um, I love getting beers with friends, going out with friends every once in a while. I think it's super fun. I think it's a great bonding experience. Um, but yeah, so for the most part, I just don't drink that much anymore, unless again I'm going out with friends or something. But that made a huge difference in my mental health and my brain. And it might be right for you, maybe it's not. Again, that's okay. This isn't like a concrete set of like if you do these things you'll feel better. These are just things that worked for me. All right, and then the last thing I'm gonna really talk about on this video in particular, which I might end up making something a little more in depth if people want to hear about it. And this one, it almost sounds ridiculous. It kind of goes with that whole like positive self-talk movement, where for a long time I thought that was like the silliest thing. Like, oh, I'm not gonna feel better just because I'm, talking positive thoughts like, oh, I'm strong, whatever. Um, but I did, the way I put this, I started being nicer to myself. Um, and it's something that I did a lot, and I think a lot of people do without realizing. We like to invalidate ourselves. And it's always like small stuff where like you're telling a story and you feel like someone's checking out, or you feel like you're being annoying. So then you're like, oh, like, sorry, this is just, it's dumb, it's almost done. Or like, oh, just like a stupid story. It's like little ways that we're invalidating and like concreting that idea that what we're saying doesn't matter, or that we are dumb, or that we are stupid. And again, it sounds ridiculous, but I started making like a huge conscious effort to stop myself and like rephrase and stop being mean to myself, whether I'm talking to people or just like in my own head at my house. You know what I'm saying? Like where I was having thoughts where I'm like, oh, I'm so dumb. I can't believe I did that. No, had to like really put in an effort and be like, no, like I'm not dumb. It happened. I feel a certain way, and it's okay that I feel that way. So I really had to start like monitoring the way that I was talking to myself in my head, talking about myself to other people. And that, as crazy as it is, hugely boosted my confidence. Again, this is like a process over a few months. I, I personally really struggled with that insecurity and struggled with, again, putting myself down all the time. And so this one definitely took a lot of effort, because most of the time it's something that we don't even realize we're doing. But once I started like really paying attention to the way I was talking to myself and the way I was treating myself, I started feeling about like better about myself. But then I was also able to treat others better because I wasn't so mean to myself. I was able to be like nicer to other people and more validating to other people as well. And I actually started noticing a lot more when other people were downing themselves or like apologizing when they didn't need to. And I, was able to be like, oh, you don't need to apologize for that. Like what you're saying matters. I don't find this annoying. And so I was able to be more encouraging to those people around me as well, which I think is a plus personally. And so, again, there's a lot more to it. This is a very summarized, kind of short video where I just wanted to talk a little bit about these things. And if it's something that people like, then I'll definitely, make some longer videos, maybe going more in depth on some of this stuff. But, to cap it off, I'm not saying that I have it all together now. And there's a lot more, to it. These are very, like, this is a very surface level overview. Again, like I said, I mean, this has been over the last, like, 2 years. Um, but I want to make this video that has the potential to help others. Um, because now where I'm at, I it's probably the healthiest I've ever been, the most motivated I've ever felt. I'm doing things that I enjoy, like making YouTube videos or painting or playing music. I'm doing a lot more stuff that I actually want to be doing. I do want to say, like, I still have bad days. I don't think this is something that is ever just gone completely. Um, but they're not as bad. I know how to cope better now. Now that I've like really put this time into myself, this time into my brain, taken myself out of situations or taken away things that aren't making me feel good, it's easier to have a bad moment in a day and move forward than it was before. Whereas, like, I spilt coffee in my lap this morning. This is actually a true story. Before I started making this video, spilt coffee in my lap driving home from the coffee shop. 2 years ago, I probably would have let that really, ruin my day, or at least like a big chunk of my day. Um, Now I'm at a spot where, as silly as it is, I can just move on from that. Hey, it is what it is, and we're gonna keep going. I'm gonna make this video. Um, so hopefully someone listens to this and they're encouraged by it. Again, a huge shout out to Cole Hastings. He really inspired me, with a lot of this mental health stuff. So if this is something you want to dive into, he has a lot of good videos. If you have any questions for me, leave a comment and I'll definitely get back to you. And again, if you want to hear more, let me know and I can definitely talk some more about some more specific stuff. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great day and thanks for watching.